Hey, 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 we're back. We're brown ambition. Hey, Mandra.
Hey, remember last week when I said that I had an immaculate immune system and that I definitely wasn't going to get COVID? It was funny. During the course of that episode, I felt my lymph nodes swelling. And by the time
Yikes.
that afternoon came, homegirl was positive. But
Oh,
at this point, it's been a week. I am on the other side of the COVID cave,
good,
y'all. Yes.
good.
But thank y'all for all of your kind words. And shout out to daycares who still make the baby stay home for 10 days. 10 days. And even if you're sick too, there's no sick notes for parents. They don't give you
Oh.
emergency daycare. Nope. But homeboy is going back tomorrow and I cannot wait. Stay-at-home mom life is if I needed a reminder, the stay-at-home mom life is just not meant. It's not my calling. It's not what the Lord has intended for me to do. That is true.
Well, you look great despite the COVID.
Thanks. Yeah, it also feels like I've got major deja vu because I don't know, deja vu for the third time. It feels like this is what our third or fourth recession in the past.
I
I don't know, 10,
know.
12 years of us. Well, I feel like in our show we've had a couple of recessions even.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, no, I
We're
didn't. I
boomer
wouldn't.
podcasters. We've been around a minute.
I was just talking to one of our producers, Dennis, about that. They're like, "Why does everybody run around like with the chicken with their head cut off? Like, didn't we just go this literally like a year or so ago? Like the fire
Yeah.
drill. We've had this fire drill before. Like, go to the
Yeah.
exits, y'all."
I guess this time people are just like, wait, but there's not a pandemic to blame. So what could it be? And
Mm,
it's even like a little bit scarier, I guess.
mm,
And it may not feel as if you're in like in the pandemic, it was like no one's fault. It's just this virus and
mm.
it was out of control and businesses, of course they have to change. Now it's like we're reaping what or businesses are reaping what they've sowed and they're just,
Yes.
making changes and cutting costs in the wake of the pandemic. The economy has been through it.
Through it.
Um
She tired.
She's she's creaking and cranking, and also she's been yanked and stretched in all these different directions. The Fed going
Mhm.
that way, 1 minute, and
Interest
then the
rates going
next,
this way. Mm-hmm.
yeah, and the our elected officials and the policymakers, and they are doing what they can to manipulate things positively, but there are
Yeah.
repercussions. I think it's
Always.
if I could go back, I feel like my econ teacher who was so happy to almost give me a C in that class, but I bet he and his Hawaiian shirt would be so excited for what's happening because it is just like a little fun economic experiment with, livelihoods at stake. And I don't want to diminish that at all.
Yeah.
But let's see what happens when you give people a bunch of stimulus checks. And let's see what
Mm-hmm.
happens when Russia goes to war with Ukraine and
Mm-hmm.
oil supplies you know, are suddenly shortened and then gas prices get enormously high and inflation, like
And
it's
interest
just
rates
like,
raise and the housing market gets crazy. And,
yeah.
so there's this interesting article that I read the other day. We were chatting about it prior because me and Mandy are friends in real life. I was like, man, did you just see this thing about Amazon? They had this internal memo that was leaked. I saw this on Fortune and the New York Post, and that Amazon could run out of people to hire in the US by 2024. That's what this memo said. So not everywhere, but so what happens is that
Mm.
Amazon, when they enter and they build like a warehouse in particular areas, they do some recon. They go into the area, they see how many people live here in totality. They see, they look at like level of education, they look at household income. They look at all of these demographic components. And then from that, they say, okay, I'm just making up a number, 1 million people that live in this area, there's about 100,000 people that could potentially work for Amazon. And that's how they decide, yes, we can build a warehouse here because, we have the ability to hire enough people to sustain the
Mm.
warehouse. Well,
Yeah.
because of the old panty, Amazon has grown tremendously, and literally you can order something now and get it today. So Amazon has like really experienced rocket ship growth. That is a pun because they went to the moon, or no, they went to the moon or Mars. Either way, they
That was
went out to outer
Tesla. Wait,
space.
no, it was both of them.
Mm.
It was both. Yeah, it was Bezos.
That-
You're right.
so,
Get my old
so,
billionaires mixed up again.
so because of like this, like I mean, of course, Amazon was already growing, but I mean, I think the pandemic just put it into overdrive. That even though they've done the math for some of these areas, that they are literally running out of people to hire, and they suspect that they'll by 2024 that will be the case, which is only like less than 2 years away. So I just thought that was
Mm.
so fascinating. So they're doing everything from giving people upwards of like $3,000 signing bonuses, giving people $22 an hour. They're even rehiring sometimes people that they let go before. I saw this in like I was on one of these like a Reddit or whatever, one of these community forums where an Amazon manager was like, I've been a manager for a number of years. They're before things they used to tell us to be strict about. They're like basically like, don't worry about it, and
Yeah.
literally bringing back people, like I said, that they let go of before, and yeah, it's just really
And is this
fascinating
like
to see.
warehouse roles? Like what types of jobs are they?
I
Because
think
we're
it's
not talking
mostly
about corporate
warehouse.
Amazon, right?
No, it's not corporate Amazon so much. I think it's really warehouse
Okay.
positions. So like pickers, I think, drivers.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it just makes me think about all the unions that have been like union fights and how Amazon's trying to squash all these unions that are trying to form like in New York and other states are trying to form unions now. Um, and if, and I think this is also a really good case of it may seem and the headlines would make you feel like every place is laying off and every place is having, hiring freezes and all of that, but where
Hmm.
where there is demand and
Yes.
short supply, like
Yep.
I think you will still continue seeing great job growth and not just job growth, but like in cases where there's not enough labor, increase wages. Um, the question is, do people want those jobs? You know,
Exactly.
I just wonder how much of it is like Amazon, not people not necessarily being physically there
Hmm.
or enough people being there, but just not wanting to work for the big box mega retailer Amazon, who used to be like this disruptor, hipster
Mm.
disruptor, and is now like the big corporate bad guy and apparently not the best place to work, according
I
to
was
a
reading
lot of
that
people.
well, one, which is kind of crazy. I'm like, look how the worm has turned. I don't even know if that's the right
The worm.
phrasing.
Okay,
I
I'm
don't know.
with
I
you.
feel like there's like the phrase that says the worm has turned, but I'm like, I'm so much like my dad. He never gets those phrases right. I'm like,
Mm-mm.
that's not how you say that. He'd be like, yeah, 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 yeah. So so
Do worms
Jeff
turn?
Bezos was once quoted on saying that Amazon was willing to tolerate higher turnovers at its facilities because they feared that employees who were with the company for too long would grow complacent. So he basically was like, let them hoes fight. And now he's like, wait, we want them back.
You want to come back?
Thinking like it's good, like that's why like they weren't so worried about like, no, if people are mad because we don't want to do a union, oh well, they can leave. And now it's like, we need
Yeah.
you. And so,
Mm.
like, how can we tie this back though into like people who are like our BA listeners who actually have businesses? Like, what are some lessons here that folks can learn?
I mean, I think first and foremost, it's I think when you get down to it, if these economic pressures are impacting your business. So if you're, for example, if you own a construction company, you've been hurting and struggling
Mm-hmm.
for years now because talk about the lack of building homes and how it was impossible. Even when we got our deck built last summer, it took forever for the parts to get shipped over. And I feel like if you're a business owner, being understanding what economic factors are at play right now and what is driving, changes in different industries and how that could be impacting your business and what pivot
Mm-hmm.
do you need to make to your business model so that you can make up for it. Now, retail, I know there's a lot of talk about tech layoffs, and we have seen massive layoffs at several tech companies. One of my favorite sites that I use to track layoffs is called layoffs.fyi, and it mostly
Mm-hmm.
tracks layoffs at tech startups. And it's a great little source there. So we have seen a lot of tech layoffs. It's true, but some of the biggest ones, even on here, are in the retail sector. And when
Mm-hmm.
you think about why, people were getting stimulus checks for a while and they were highly popular. And I know a lot of families needed them. And with that extra cash, they were using it. I think there was a lot of saving that first year of the pandemic. And in 2021, it was like, oh, okay, things are pretty good. So we're going to actually start spending this stimmy money we've been hoarding.
Mm-hmm.
All that spending, increased demand on retailers, all of that. But then there's a shortage of just supply, because there's just all these like shortages and like, what do you call it? Supply chain issues because of the pandemic. So retailers have been hit really hard.
Mm-hmm.
And now that, retailers are having to, like we've seen even big box stores like Target
Mm-hmm.
announcing sales because they're like, we got all this stuff and people are not
Yes.
spending as much and they're not coming here to shop anymore. So we need to now decrease. So if you have like a retail product specific kind of business, I feel like the takeaway is okay, so what other lines of business or streams of business income
Mm.
revenue can I generate to be well diversified
Mm-hmm.
so that I can be more resilient in the face of these
These
economic
changes.
pressures?
I still be at Target though. Target, don't worry, I'll still be there.
I don't think
But
they're
I was
going
also
anywhere.
thinking too, because you know how I always teach you when you're like, "Where are my millions?" I'm like, "Mandy, you are literally 1 year and 2 days in." You
When did I
know
say
that.
that?
I'm just like, so I think this is also, to me, it's a really good lesson for business owners who are wanting that rocket ship growth, that sometimes growth can almost be a detriment if done in such a way that you can't manage what the growth requires, because all growth requires some sort of foundation to keep it and maintain it. And so Amazon, despite how big and how amazing it is, that, its growth is almost hindering it, because unless they have for some places, like I saw, it's like in California, Arizona, those are some of the major places where they have huge warehouses, that that growth could potentially put it in a really bad spot. We know that Amazon, the stock just split 20-1, and I'm wondering if this article or this revelation about them not being able to find as many employees as they need and maintain them, that might affect it's the stocks. I just checked ahead of time, so I checked on Robinhood. Right now, Amazon is 108, trading at 108. So it's up a little. At its lowest, it was like 101. Of course, because I don't listen to my own advice, I bought it when it was 120, even though I'm like, no, 124, even though I'm like, Tiffany, do not buy when the stock splits, do not buy right away. Do not buy right. It says that, my brain says that, and my hands are like, girl, I can't, I gotta get in. So I've lost 400 something dollars. It's fine. It's fine. Um, but I just think that one of the lessons learned is that it's not just enough to grow. You have to create a foundation to support that growth, or else that growth will actually sink you. So for those of y'all with small businesses of your own, considering that like all growth ain't good growth, making sure that you're growing in a way that you can actually sustain and maintain.
I mean, I can tell you from the types of questions we've gotten on BAQ&A from our listeners on IG, and even just like people hitting me up in my email, because I still do my weekly newsletter, Mandi Money, all career tips, and people are worried. Like, what does this mean for my
Mm,
career? What does it mean for my job? And so, like, flipping it on the other side of businesses that are having to make these pivots because of what's happening in the economy, there are human
mhm.
beings. Like, there's people who
Yes.
the reality is, when recessions happen, people lose jobs. Even people at these companies, like Tesla's probably going to be laying off a lot of people. These big companies, and I always go back to what I've said so long, which is no job is stable, no job
Mm,
is secure. We have to stop thinking of ourselves. We have to stop thinking of our jobs as being stable and secure, and ourselves as being our own career stability. Like, what is
mhm,
it about you that creates a resilient professional? What is it about you that will make it possible for you to bounce back and pivot and move and, jump and jive when you need to be flexible when things happen in the economy? Is your skill set that you have today things that employers are going to want tomorrow?
mhm,
That's like probably one of the biggest driving factors of, even if you were to lose your job, well, could you get another one somewhere else? And I was thinking a lot about, like the 2008, 2009 recession when baby Mandy, like I know Tiffany had your own crazy,
mhm.
recession story. I had just moved to New York and I lost my job 3 months after moving here. And I was a journalism graduate. Like, I studied actual print, like how to write on paper. That no, like, it's not even a thing anymore. And it was the same situation, like everyone telling me this is a wrong career, you won't make any money. And I'm like, but this is my skills. And I eventually had to sit down and say, like, okay, what are the facts? Like, yes, people are saying the industry is changing, people are losing their jobs. Those were facts, but they were still jobs. They were just very different. They were digital jobs. I had to learn some digital skills. I had to learn how to write for the web, and I had to work
Mm,
my way up in that. And I understood from that experience that my core skills still made me employable. And no, that job that I envisioned didn't exist when I got out there into the market, but a version of that job did, and I could use my skills, in a new and different way. And because I
mhm.
was able to be flexible, I mean, I carried that throughout my career. That's why I'm always like, how are you reinvesting in your skill set, learning new skills, changing with your industry and not being stagnant or not being so stubborn that you're not willing to always be learning and trying new things to make yourself more attractive, to hiring managers. So that's, I feel like, the key message for people who are working and just wondering, should I not be making career moves? Should I be freaked out? Am I going to lose my job? That's not a big enough question. The bigger question for me is, what is it? How strong is your professional brand? How
Mm-hmm.
strong and needed are your skill sets? And then what can you do to strengthen those two things so that you're resilient, like individually?
Mm-hmm.
And no matter what's happening in the economy, you'll find a way to float at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's like if you bring excellence to the table, a space is always made for you. You know,
Yeah. And sometimes you got to like roll up to the table and like squeeze in, you can't
like,
be,
excuse me,
was,
excuse me.
yeah, you can't, sometimes you got to tell people you belong at that table. And, and
Yes,
that's part of the branding too. It's like, not just being excellent, but then how are you telling people about that excellence so that you're
yes,
not just a secret, and then
yes.
you're just
Because a
like,
lot
damn,
of us ladies,
when's
we're
my turn?
secretly awesome.
Yes.
Secretly awesome. It's like no. Be awesome out loud.
Yeah. Oprah was always awesome, but she had to get a mic and a TV show. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, and that's why I call it actually illustrate your Oprah. Like, that you illustrate your values so well that's like it's
mm-hmm.
undeniable, like Oprah. So I always tell people, gotta learn to illustrate your Oprah. Yeah,
Hell
that's
yeah.
good.
And you can take that and you can take control of the narrative too, your own professional narrative. I mean, I at the end of the day, if you're in an industry that's really hurting because of the recession that we're heading toward or in, I don't know, is it official yet? Then yeah, have some, be a realistic. So maybe there'll be layoffs. Okay, but what then? So what can you do today? What can you control? You can't control whether
Mm-hmm.
or not they're going to let you go. I mean, you can, even people who are greatly valuable, you still may
Yeah.
get laid off, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what can you do now? Can you start, checking out your resume, making sure that it's beefed up, make sure that you're really demonstrating your impact? Can you start,
Mm-hmm.
warming up your network and letting them know what you've been up to? Can you start posting on
Mm-hmm.
LinkedIn about the excellent work you've been doing? Can you write some articles about your thoughts on your industry and add your perspective to add some thought leadership content? Some thought leadership always goes a long way, I think, toward
Yes.
helping people establish their brand and get noticed by potential hiring managers or colleagues in other places. You just never know who's reading.
You never
So
know.
these are the things that you can control. Yeah.
Yes. No, I love that. That's
And yeah,
great because you're
save some
right.
money. That's
Some
smart
people
too.
like the
But
medium, like those, like the medium articles that have blown up from people who've written, like on LinkedIn. You're
mm,
like, oh wow, because you're right.
I always
How
forget
do
about
you stand
Medium.
out? What you said you were just thinking about medium?
I always forget about Medium until
Mm-hmm.
something blows up and I'm like, damn, Medium. I like Medium. Brown Ambition, supported by Constant Contact, a digital marketing platform that helps small businesses and nonprofits of all sizes build, grow, and succeed. With email marketing, contact management, industry-leading list growth tools, social media ads, and more, Constant Contact helps small businesses connect with customers, find new ones, and sell online, all from one easy-to-use platform. They've been trusted by millions of businesses to help improve their marketing. With a 97% deliverability rate, you can rest assured that your customers and potential customers are getting the right message at the right time. With a simple interface, Constant Contact's easy-to-use platform makes contact management easier than ever. Their list growth tools help you find a bigger audience fast. Lead generation, landing pages, text to join, and social media ads are proven to grow your list and drive engagement with your brand. Plus, they've got thousands of integrations, so you can sync Constant Contact's tools with the tools you're already using. Powerful automation tools help you send the right message to the right person at the right time every time. To start your free digital marketing trial today, visit constantcontact.com. Are you making business changes?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, because we were born out of the recession, we're like,
Yeah.
it's showtime, baby.
Mm-hmm.
So this is
Yeah.
like our third one, actually. So
Yeah.
there are certainly some people. Here's the thing. Here's the secret. You want to know why I have been in business for 14, almost 15 years? Because I pre-pivot. Like
Mm.
we have been in the middle of a pivot for like even before the pandemic and everything hit, we had already been pivoting, because I'm always pivoting, because I don't want to, like, I don't want the market to tell me, girl, get on it. Cause by then it's too late. Cause some pivots take 2 or 3 years. So like, I like to, what my business coach calls, time travel. So I will mentally time travel forward and say, what are some of the
Okay.
hiccups or the hangups that can happen? And then I'll come back to the present, and I'll say, how can we start making changes now so we could do so less frantically? And so
Mm.
there are some huge pivots that we're making, like with the Literature Academy. I cannot wait. It is awesome and amazing. And if we had just started now, this has been a pivot for about 2.5 years in the making. That's going to transform our business and make us even more sound. But if I had to do that now, it would just be either stressful to try to get it done in 6 months to a year, or you just can't get it done in 6 months to a year. And I would just be trying to hold on for dear life until we could get it done. So that's really the key, is that, like, in all things that I do, like, look at my mentoring with them, my mentor Tiffany, right? .com. So that is a pre pivot, like,
Mm.
low key, high key, low key. I started my mentor Tiffany because I was like, is this a pivot that I can into consulting that I can make? Let's see if I even like it. Not only just that, with my mentees, I get to test out different marketing theories that I have. I get to see, like, if I do want to write another book, like, what's hitting with y'all, what's not hitting. But do you see, like, I likely won't
Mhm.
use some of the things I'm learning with my mentees for the next 3 to 5 years. But I don't have to be in a rush because I pre-pivoted. And so when you first start your business, work on the business. But as you start to get like a nice little rhythm going, then, like, you should start to think about that. Like, what are some things, as I'm doing my normal everyday business, let me set aside 20 to 30% of my energy to time travel forward and to start working on what's headed and what's coming. So yeah, so it was a blessing, kind of like growing up during that
Yeah.
recession in 2009-10, because it allows me to think in this way. And so, yeah, like,
It also
we're
stops
making
you from
changes.
panicking as much because you
Yes.
have some experience to know that there will be a return to
Yes.
normalcy,
Yes. And
you
it's going to
know?
be a dip. Like, literally, we probably will, like, we went at our peak $10 million a year for one of our companies, and then maybe we'll make 5 or 6. But that's part of the pivot, because I
Mhm.
knew, I was like, this pivot is going to allow us to potentially grow to 50 million. But if we don't make these changes, we can't. And the changes are going to require us to take talent away from our day-to-day operations into this. And so we're going to have to take this temporary L, maybe for 2 years, maybe 3, but I think we can do it in 2, where it's going to look like, oh, business really slowed down. It didn't. It's just transformed. And then this new way that we do business that we've introduced will allow us to maintain the growth that we seek, versus, like, because we were doing what Amazon was doing. Well, not really, because Amazon obviously is huger, but we were doing this rocket ship growth, but it wasn't as sustainable as I would like. And it's very stressful
Mm.
to grow very quickly in that way. So I was like, I don't want to do business like that anymore. How do we do business that is slow and steady, but something that's sustainable? So I'm excited, like, for what that kind of looks like. And I have I have a couple of other things that we're working on that I'm like, let's see. Because here's the thing too that I like to do. I like to practice when it's safe. So in the mentee, like with my mentees, I get to practice. And if it doesn't work out, I'm like, okay, it didn't work out. Like, I don't need the mentorship money in order to run business. And so I will practice a thing and see, well, how many people sign up to be my mentee? Well, what if I do this? Okay. Well, what if I do that? Okay. And so I like to practice with, like, kind of these side projects to see what works and what doesn't work. So I can, if it doesn't work out, that's fine. But if it does, I can take that lesson I've learned and then put it toward the business, that our core business that we really don't have time to be practicing with. So honestly, that's why,
Yeah.
I mean, I business is just fascinating to me. Like, second to financial education is the thing that I'm really enjoy, like the business of business. Like, how do you get here? How do you stay here? How do you market? How do you, and so, yeah, it's
Yeah.
stressful, certainly sometimes, not as much as it used to be, but it's just, if you're fortunate enough to get to a place where you can do and make these sort of choices, it's just really fascinating to see, like, what's capable, and what you're capable of.
Yeah, I think I just had my first year in business, and I feel like everything I did last year that I just did, didn't
Hmm.
wait till it was perfect, but just started doing it. Just started
Hmm.
doing career coaching before I had a website. Just started, coming up with ideas for articles I could write for different outlets and pitching them, and started building the Mandi Moneymakers program and
Mhm.
built it as I went. And it wasn't perfect to start with and have made each cohort better and better. I think that that was one of the smartest things I did as a baby entrepreneur, was
Mhm.
getting this stuff done and not waiting for it to be perfect, because I've done things thoughtfully and as carefully as I could. I wasn't like all out there willy-nilly, and I did, so much focus grouping and like asking people what they wanted and all of that. It's very
Mhm.
thoughtful, but I got out of my own way in a sense so that I could actually get stuff done. So now I
Yes.
have the infrastructure to, I think, be even more successful during this recession. I think y'all question if I'm a good career coach. No one has actually questioned that. I think I'm great, but I think y'all have been supportive. Y'all have been listening to me talk about it for 7 years. But I'm excited about the opportunity to help women navigate this situation, like navigate this
Mhm.
economy in your career. I'm the best person for it. I've done it myself like 2 or 3 times and
Mhm.
still managed to do all that I've done. So I'm just like, damn, yes. So it's not just that I'm doing what I want to be doing, but the time has now, like the moment has come. You know what
Yes.
I mean? Like when the timing is right. And sometimes when you're building it, it may not feel like, okay, the demand is there. Maybe there is some demand, but I'm excited to be ready for the moment.
Mhm.
If I had waited, I may not have been ready to meet the moment. I may not have
Yes.
had enough of my business
Solidified.
structure
Yes.
foundation there. I wasn't ready for the 2020. I remember thinking, you know, huge brands were born in 2020,
Mhm.
who started building audiences then. And I was like, well, I
Mhm.
was I was in a different journey. I just
Mhm.
had a baby and I was riding that wave and all of that. And I'm like, yes, this is like the business version of business double dutch. And I'm finally ready to get
Yes.
in there and find my rhythm. You know what I mean?
Yes. My dad would
Um,
call it baptismal fire.
or
Like
that
people
too.
people are they're born through the fire. Like it's like we're about to
Yeah.
go through this recessional fire, and out will come these amazing, especially financial brands, because people are going to be leaning into folks like you, during this time. So I'm
It's
excited to see
exciting to
like
be able to help, to feel like we can
yes,
help. And I'm like, dang,
yes,
this is probably what you've been feeling like all this time too. It's like, okay, mission, service, all
yes.
aligned with what people are wanting right now. That feels good. I mean, I'm not necessarily I'm just trying to, I'm accelerating some plans that I had, and I'm definitely like, okay, it's going to be a busy ass summer. So how can I
Mm.
ask for the help that I need
Mhm.
to get this special work done, and just recognize that I've been able to really have a decent schedule for a while, but not only is more work coming, I'm planning, lots of webinars and lots of, additional group coaching programs, and it's all really exciting. So it's going to be, I just want to seize the opportunity. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So I see the next 6 months being busier, busier, busier than ever, and trying to figure out, okay, so what resources do I need?
Mhm.
What help do I need? Because I know I can't do it alone, and
No.
I don't want to be silly enough to think I can.
Mhm.
Um, so figuring out how to hire some help is on my plate for sure.
Mhm.
And I had asked you too, in the influencer space, I think as influencers, we being mindful of what happens when there's recessions. I think for
Yep.
what could go down in 2022 and 2023 is potentially the amount of marketing dollars that partners have to spend on
Mhm.
folks like us and using us as advertising. Your relationships are longer and deeper and all that kind of thing. I'm a newbie, so and in that case, brand partnerships is a piece of my business, but it's
Mhm.
not the whole thing. I've got like
Yes.
6 or 7 different income streams, and I love that because I don't feel like I'm not going to be ended, because a
Mhm.
partnership won't work
Yeah,
out
you
because
want to
I've
be
got these other
careful. I
five,
will
six
say like
things
brand
cooking.
partnerships definitely take up more now than they ever have before. For me, only because I charge way more now,
Mm.
and so it's definitely a bigger piece of budgetista than they were. But because I was intentional, just like you, I was like, I don't want to be the brand partnership girl, and then I'm not the hot girl no more, and they move on. But something that you should consider too, that I have found that people are paying a lot of money for, is more and more speaking engagement. So like positioning yourself. So if you're an influencer and you're listening, and if it makes sense, so I have a lot of brands now who are coming to me, not necessarily to be like a hey, post this thing on your social media, but honestly I'm getting a lot of, Tiffany, can you come speak to our people? And
How old
so, and
fashioned.
so, yes, and I love it because what they're seeing is this thing. Like I just had a call. I don't know if I'm allowed to say. Well, let's just say
Don't break the NDA.
no. There's no NDA. That's what I'm just. I don't know what else to say.
Oh,
Either
okay.
way, it's a big, huge multi. Yeah, it's a huge company that maybe your parents took you there when you were little. You know what I mean? When you were good. Anyway, so I just had a call with them, and I'm doing like speaking gig, and like that's what it's for. It's not to share the world, like wear your ears. That is
Chuck E.
instead they're like we want you to
Cheese.
speak.
Is it Chuck E. Cheese?
Chuck E.
Sorry.
Cheese. It's huge.
My
It's like one of
parents
those
were
huge,
poor. Where did your parents take you?
these
Disney
huge
World?
companies. Yes. So it's like this huge, like multinational global company. And they're knowing that we're shifting into this space, and they're wanting the employees to give them like a holistic, I guess like holistic perspective on what they can do to prepare and see their way through. And honestly, when I tell you, there are like one of 5 that I've done in the last like month or so, and it's the same thing over and over. We want our employees to be okay. We want to, like, they're looking at it as part of their wellness program. Like one company,
Yeah.
like it shocked me because I thought like they wanted me to talk about finances. She's like, no, I saw your IG live where you said you were back-ish and how you talked about how you're actually taking a step back. And I was like, wow. So it was with this big financial company, and they didn't want to really talk to them about money. They wanted me to talk to them about what is enough, not overdoing it, not overworking, creating like work-life balance. I was like, what? So I just say all that to say that there are ways to shift even within your space. Like, okay, it's not just, hey, Tiffany, tell them that our secure credit card is so great, but hey, can you come internally and talk to our
Yeah.
people about preparing for a recession? Or like, like what does it look like to use their money as a tool toward their overall wellness goals? And so I found that to be interesting and great. So there are, when, like I said before, when you do and you bring excellence to the table, people will seek you out. Like I don't pitch myself. I haven't had to just yet. It's been 15 years. I've never pitched myself. And as a result, but if you show up, and to Mandy's point, to be visible, get that mic
You
on.
share your story.
Yes.
Someone
So people
heard your
can see,
story. Yeah.
and
And it
and then so,
resonated and opportunities followed.
exactly. So it's exciting times, like,
Mm.
I know it's going to be a lot of hard times for a lot of folks, but you can decide that you're going to see what you can do to leverage this to push you to the next level.
Absolutely. Those are the 2 options. You can be down, you can be pessimistic, you can think that this is like the end or that
Hmm.
things are going to, change and they're going to be worse, or you can think this is opportunity, this is when stars are made, this is when opportunities are
Hmm.
born. And what do you want your story to be? And
Hmm.
I feel like my story has always been door number 2 in that equation, and I feel like Tiff too. And I feel like if you're part of the BA fam, you got to choose door number 2, right? We
Yes.
got to seize this moment, whatever that moment means for you. It may feel scary right now, but keep rocking with us. I just feel like we've always never failed in that level of realistic optimism, because we just know that there's going to be these lulls and there will be great rises at the same time. And will you be ready for that? I think you will.
I would love to know some of the pivots that you guys are going to make with this upcoming recession. You can tweet us at the
Mm,
BA Podcast. That's your homework. We're going to start giving you weekly homework. Okay. Tweet
yeah.
us at the BA Podcast and let us know my BA pivot is going to be XYZ. We love that. Mandy, you're Mandy Money on Twitter as well, right?
I don't even know. I don't even really use Twitter. IG is where it's at. Mandy Money
Okay.
on IG. I
Okay.
do check BA Twitter at the BA Podcast. We're at Brown Ambition Podcast
Mm-hmm.
on IG. Where else
Mm-hmm.
can you find us? Follow us on TikTok, y'all. Where y'all at on TikTok? Brown Ambition Podcast is on TikTok, and we were early enough to actually get our handle.
Woo,
Brown
finally.
Ambition,
Because everybody else are
right?
like with their one followers like talking about I'm Brown Ambition. You're not Brown Ambition.
I know, yeah.
But yes, tell us your
We're
pivot. We'd love to
everywhere.
know.
Yeah,
You should
career
pause
pivot,
for
money pivot, business pivot,
yes, we'd love to know.
all of it. And if you
What's-
don't have one plan, just listening to this episode, I hope that you're thinking of what is it that you can control and what is it
Yeah.
that you can do to meet this moment that we're in right now.
Hey, BA fam. Support for Brown Ambition comes from our friends at Avast. Avast empowers you with digital safety and privacy, no matter who you are, where you are, or how you connect. Avast prevents over 1.5 billion with a B attacks every month. Not a year, but a month, okay? Avast's new all-in-one solution, Avast One, helps you take control of your safety and privacy online through a range of features. Avast One data breach monitoring lets you find out if your online accounts have been compromised and whether your passwords need to be changed. Hint, they do. Ransomware protection secures your personal photos, documents, and other files from being modified, deleted, or encrypted by ransomware attacks. With Avast One, you can confidently take control of your online world without worrying about viruses, phishing attacks, ransomware, hacking attempts, and other cyber crimes. Learn more about Avast One at avast.com. Hey, BA fam. Now we are going to have a word from our sponsor, BetterHelp. Are you working too much? Yes. Not taking enough time for yourself, feeling burned out. Life can be overwhelming, don't you know? I know. And many people are burnt out without even knowing it. Symptoms can include lack of motivation, irritability, fatigue, and more. We associate burnout with work, but that's not the only cause. Any of our roles in life can lead to us feeling burnt out. BetterHelp Online Therapy wants to remind you to prioritize yourself. Talking with someone can help you figure out what's causing stress in your life. BetterHelp is customized online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist, so you don't have to see anyone on camera if you really don't want to. It's much more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can be matched with a therapist in under 48 hours. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/brownambition. That's betterhelp.com/brownambition. That's betterhelp.com/brownambition. And we're black and back. It's Brown Boost and Brown Break. Do you have a boost? Do you have a break? I have a really quick break. I mean, really quick boost. Let me see if I can find the name of this. So I have been eating. Okay, this is where it is. Okay, I have been eating so much better. So I don't know. As I've gotten older, I finally start to listen to my body, whatever. And I cut out red meat a long time ago because, child, no. And then I realized that chicken ain't really my friend. A whole black girl. And I can't do chicken. The level of bloat, the level of bloat that I get when I have chicken, and seafood I can still do, salmon and things. But when I was vegan, that's honestly when I was my healthiest. But I ain't going back. I'm not going back to vegan. I already can't have dairy just because lactose intolerant. I'm give me something to live for. So, but I have been trying it. So I would say I am 70 to 80% vegan during the week because so I mostly, because I don't eat chicken,
your hot salads, we know all about it.
I know, right? And I don't eat I don't eat red meat. I can't have dairy. But there has been this really great Black-owned, women-owned restaurant in Belleville, New Jersey. And even though I know some of y'all don't live in New Jersey, sorry for you, but I really wanted to shout her out. Her name is Nikki, and she owns this restaurant called Cell Power, CELL Power, POWWER, Cell Power Cafe. And when I tell you, she is single-handedly keeping me joyful with food, because the food is really healthy. I mean, she's got this curry chickpea bowl with quinoa and you can get quinoa, the curry chickpeas, tomato, and what is that? Spinach. It is so good. She's got this salmon bowl, her salmon wrap, her shrimp wrap. I mean, everything. I've been eating it. And when I'm I can't have another salad or whatever it is I'm eating, that's what I order at least once or twice a week. Her smoothies are amazing. Honestly, I have to just shout out to Nikki because she said that one, she's a fairly new entrepreneur. I think I don't know if they've been open for a year. She said this is how she always cooked for her family. And her friends were basically, girl, this could be a restaurant and it's doing well. And I just love to see, when I go in there, we talk business, we talk finance, and she's slaying. And to see her daughter work there too, and to see this Black woman with this, it's not a restaurant. It's one of these, well, I don't want to call it a sandwich shop.
Like a lunch, lunch
so you
cafe
maybe a few, 2 or 3 people could sit in there, but I
I'm
order
done
via
it.
Uber Eats. Nikki be knowing me. She's like, I can always tell it's you. I'm always like, can you switch out the brown rice for quinoa? And can you I'm the queen of swap. I'm like, it's Tiffany. She's like, I know. But they are so good. Cell Power Cafe. They're just amazing. Like, so if you go to cellpowerllc.com, CELL, the word power, LLC.com, that is their website. And I just want to say, like, she's just so dope. Like, literally, I've called her and be like, oh, the Uber Eats guy stole my smoothie, because that's happened. And she's been like, yes. Because she's like, I gave him the
Really?
smoothie. Yeah. And I'm like, well, girl, he didn't give it to me. And so she will drive and like drop off a smoothie. I just love to see small
Hmm.
businesses that really take pride in, like, how can I deliver the best value, the best service, the best food. And so, yeah, just shout out to Nikki and to Cell Power. And that's my boost. I just love to see us winning out here and making sure that,
Hell yeah.
I snatch and keep it together with my veggies.
You're gonna make me want to order lunch now. Damn, I'm so
The next
hungry.
time you come visit, we're gonna eat some Cell Power. You're gonna love
Listen,
it.
I had a bag of soggy Apple Jacks that Rio just deigned to give me on the way home from the park. He said, "Yeah, mommy, I'm done with these." All right. Let me do a quick brown boost. I want to do a brown boost because I'm so excited. I mentioned I'm going to be doing more webinars. I want to talk to the people. I want to talk to the people about their careers. And I want to shout out a free webinar, 100% free. It's going to be like 2 hours long. I always pack so much into these webinars. It's going to be me talking to you guys about how to recession proof your career. I've done it. You can do it. It's okay. It's going to be like all about how to stay resilient, score new opportunities, and thrive no matter what the hell is happening in the economy we've been talking about. I'm talking about everything, like how the economy is actually going to impact your career. I'm going to do an industry by industry breakdown because we're going to fight fear with facts. That's what we do.
Mm.
We like to actually look at what industries are struggling, what skills people are really hiring for. Because I'm telling you, I'm still getting coaching clients who are getting huge paydays and exciting career opportunities, like in spite of what's going on. And I'm huge on talking about professional brands. So I'm going to do a whole mini workshop of what I do for Mandi Moneymakers on professional branding and help you stand out on LinkedIn. So we're going to drop a link to register in the show notes for BA, but join me. It's going to be Tuesday, June 28th. Please, dear
Woohoo.
Lord, tell me I got the date right. Yes. So that is, you guys listening to this on Wednesday, that's just tomorrow. So you guys got like 6 days to register for the Recession Proof Your Career webinar hosted by
I
yours
love
truly.
it. I love
And I hope
it.
y'all come out June 28th
I,
at 9. It's going to be a late night. 9, I got to get the baby down. 9 p.m. Eastern. All right.
Okay, I was going to ask you
See
that.
y'all
Like,
then.
is there a maximum amount of people that can come?
I don't think so. I got the expensive version of Webinar Jam. I think
Okay,
we should
that's
be good.
awesome. All right, and
I
if
usually
people
get a couple
come,
hundred, but I'll be excited if y'all come.
will they be able to get the replay afterwards?
Oh, yes, of course. So the replay will be available for like 48 hours, 72 hours
Okay,
afterward. But you
okay,
definitely want to show up in person because I got a
yes.
little for an extra freebie. Get kit that I'll tell you guys more about. If you register, you get all the details on the freebie that you're going to get. I have not done a free webinar like this since March, and before that, it was like
Mm.
December. But like I said, I'm ready to meet the moment, y'all.
Yes,
So
that's gonna be the name of
please
the episode. Meet the
join me.
moment.
Meet the moment. Mandi,
Imani, you
meeting the
got that,
moment.
Imani. Meet the moment. No, I love that.
Yeah.
So you'll get the link for Mandi Recession Proof Your Career, which I love now more than ever. That's super
Thank
important.
you.
That link will be in the show notes. We'll put the Cell Power LLC in the show notes too, so you can go ahead and show. Well, that's if you live in this area. Sorry if you don't.
She's gonna be like, we don't deliver to San Francisco.
I know. You
Brown
know what? If you
ambition,
do
what?
go, tell her Tiffany. She doesn't even know me as Budgetnista, I don't think. Just be like, yo, Tiffany sent me. Well, you can say Tiffany the Budgetnista, but I don't think she knows me as that. She just be like, Tiffany, that girl that orders every damn day. I have her cell phone. I'd be like, Nikki, when you put my she's like, I know she's so annoyed with me. But I'm like, yeah, so that's awesome, Mandy. I can't wait. Maybe I'll be there too. I need to send it to my sister Lisa because the Lord only knows.
I would
So
love
we
to
hope
have
you meet
Lisa in
your
the
moment
audience.
and you enjoyed. And if you did enjoy, and especially with this looming recession, please tell a friend. If you want to see your way through, you've got myself, you've got Mandi. We are here to come and listen to this podcast because honestly, it's just going to be a great
Mm-hmm.
space for you to understand what business is going to look like, career, even your personal life. Because Mandy and I share too the struggles that we're having and like what like how we're making do. And so just bring your friends on over, your peoples on over, so we can work through these things together. You are not alone in as you navigate on this journey. So
We
we
need like
love
a
you,
Brown
BA
Ambition
fam.
front porch. Well,
Hmm.
come on up to the front porch, honey. That's what I feel like we're saying. We really
Yes.
are like boomer podcasters. Oh, it's your first recession. Come on up here, baby.
Back in my day.
Let me pour you some lemonade and tell you about the last 2-3 recessions we survived. Oh no, we're not boomers. All right, BA fam. Well, I'm so excited. And I know I feel a little bit guilty that I am so excited, but it's all about meeting the moment, right?
Hmm.
That's what we're here for. See
All
y'all
right.
next week.
Well, no, Friday, BAPA, BAQA.
Oh, dang, yeah. Check us out on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
BAQ&A.
If you
Twice
have
a week now.
questions, yep. If you have questions, you can send us a question via Insta, via our website, brownambitionpodcast.com, and we answer them every Friday. So there's that too.
Every Friday. BAQA.
Hey, the BAQA. Bye
Mm.
bye. Bye,
See y'all
y'all.
Friday then.